Hi, welcome to the Anxious Developer Podcast with me, Andres Grvac. Here I share my knowledge on how to reduce your stress, become more present and productive as a developer. Let's make writing code fun again. On today's episode, I talk about how oftentimes we forget to also live our life. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Hello everyone again. It's been quite some while since we had our previous podcast, and I apologize for that. I was quite busy with my contract work that lasted for 3 months, so now that that's done, I'm back on my normal schedule, and I hope I can be more consistent with these podcast episodes along the way. So let's dive in today's topic. So I wanted to touch on the topic that it seems sometimes we forget that we also need to live our life. And what I mean by that is that at the beginning of our journey, we really focus on healing. And this is one of the examples in my life. And was the case in my life when I started my healing journey. I focused very much on healing, and I made sure I integrated a lot of self-care routine, a lot of different things that I will do during the day, or things I will not do during the day, in order to make sure I'm consistent with my healing and I'm on the right track. And while that is good at the beginning, I think, on the long term, we often forget that we also need to have time to live our life as we want it and to go in line with our values. So you probably are familiar with the idea that doing less sometimes is more, actually. And actually it's oftentimes is more, because if we focus just on healing, like I said, we might forget to live our life. And why is that? Because we set different boundaries sometimes with different people, maybe, or with different things we do during the day, which helps our healing, which indeed makes us focus on getting over that past trauma that we had, or maybe getting over the anxiety at work or something like that. But we have to remember, life is not just about the healing journey. It's not just about you. It's not just about getting better. Sometimes it's okay to let life do its own thing. And I'll give an example from my life, so maybe it's a bit easier to understand. So when I just started on my healing journey, I used to do meditation like I think 2 or 3 times a day. I used to have a really set routine in the morning that I do on set of like every hour is like perfectly set on what I do, what meditation I do, and so on. And while that was okay, at the same time, it created more anxiety around it, because I was trying to live a perfect life almost. So if I didn't do my meditation in the morning, which sometimes will happen, sometimes I have to go to school and maybe I wake up a bit later. So if I miss that meditation, it will create even more anxiety, just because I'm not on a healing journey. Which that's kind of counterproductive, right? You are not meditating or you're not doing self-help in order to avoid anxiety. You're doing those things to help you with the anxiety. And that was the problem. I was using those things as a coping mechanism and not as a tools for healing. So it actually took me a lot of years to realize that. I think it took me more than 2 years to realize, hey, all these coping mechanisms I set for myself, like meditation, things like that, which help, which makes me more mindful, all of those things are good. Same time, it created a perfect life that I need to live every day, where I need to meditate, I need to maybe do certain exercise, and if I don't do those things, it will generate a lot of anxiety, because it's almost like, okay, it's for sure my day will not go good anymore because I missed those things, which shouldn't be like that. It's not how life works. And going to the next kind of idea is that life is not perfect and we shouldn't expect of that. So if life is not perfect, so your journey shouldn't be. You see, we are on a healing journey for a reason. And I think in these times, there's been a lot of focus on our personal journey, on the healing journey. But we also have to remember that life is not perfect. Life has its ups and downs. And when we have our ups, we're very happy that everything goes as planned. We're not stressed maybe. We are in good shape and everything goes fine. But when we have our downs, that's when we need to use our healing tools more. But in no means we should use our healing tools in a way to prevent us from living. And like I said, of course it's good to set boundaries. Of course it's good to cut some things that you do daily that usually made you anxious. For example, maybe stop watching horror movies at night or something like that will decrease that anxiousness level, because maybe you're very tired after work, so obviously you need to be less stimulated at night. For every person, this healing journey is different, and everyone has to understand what things contribute to their anxiety so they can maybe change those things. But in no way we should use our healing tools to run from our responsibilities, from even enjoyments in life or things that before used to make us feel joyful. And even if that creates a little bit of anxiety, let's say, okay, I want to play some games, and I know games is normal for the game to make you feel anxious. That's normal because that keeps you playing the game. Well, that makes you a little bit anxious. We shouldn't try to avoid that. There is some healthy and some good things into that. I mean, we are living beings. We cannot stop being anxious right away. We will never get rid of our anxious thoughts, but we can always find ways to manage those thoughts. We can manage how we respond to those things, but in no way we can get rid of our sense of human beings. So while playing games too much can be too overwhelming, and we should try to be mindful of that, but it shouldn't stop you from playing games casually if you enjoy them, if that brings you some relaxation, if that brings you some joy and maybe you connect with your friends. I don't see any reason to stop doing that, even if it makes you a little bit anxious. So again, your healing tools, your healing journey shouldn't stop you from enjoying your life actually. And here also can be a good example of probably heard of that. There's two people that live to work and who work to live. So while I'm not, in no way I'm trying to judge what is better, every person is different. And for example, for myself, I work to live. I enjoy working. I enjoy doing certain stuff, but definitely I would say I enjoy more living my life outside of work. So I enjoy maybe going on trips. I enjoy spending more time with my family, connecting with friends. So those things for me are a little bit more of a priority than work. And like I said, while I like coding, while I like creating a new project or working with my team on a new startup, that's really exciting things. I still do those things in order to fulfill my life outside of work in some way. But there are also people who live to work, who they enjoy their work more than doing things outside of their work. So while that is also okay, because everyone has their priorities, some people they love their work so much that that's their life. But here I think is where we can use an example or where this kind of is not really useful. So for example, I would say that we should actually heal to live and not live to heal. So if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say is we should heal our problems, we should heal our traumas, we should work on improving ourselves. And the reason for that is to just become a better human, a better husband, a better wife, a better partner, those things should help us grow so we can enjoy our life, actually, because that's the whole reason. It's not just living in a box and being healed and not anxious. That's not the reason of it. Or like to get rid of all your senses of like fear and flight or fight reaction. That's not the reason. So that's why we should heal to live and not live to heal. We shouldn't spend so much time into healing that we forget how to live our life and enjoy things that maybe before we enjoyed doing. And now because we are doing this healing journey, we set too many boundaries with our family, maybe with other people, and now we don't do those things anymore. So, like I said, doing less oftentimes is more. And try to remember that. Also, when you try too hard to heal your anxiety or your whatever it may be, your depression, your traumas, you can actually sometimes can heal slower because you focus too much. You want to change too much, too fast, and that creates overwhelming responses and creates more anxiety around that. While letting go of things and accepting things that they are and understanding that, okay, I'm on a healing journey, I'm healing. I don't know how much it's going to take or how many years or maybe months or weeks. I don't know, but that's okay because every day I'm improving myself and there's no reason to set a goal like a deadline. This is not a project you need to finish in 1 week or 1 month. This is something you're going to do for the rest of your life. So there's no like, okay, you did healing for 2 years and then you suddenly stop. It's not like that. It's not like you need, but if you are embarking on this journey or healing yourself, improving yourself, you need to realize this is for the rest of your life, because why would you stop trying to become a better human? You'll never reach a point in your life when you're like perfect. Because we are humans, we experience emotions, and life has its ups and downs, and it's okay to feel things, but we always should strive to become better. So that's where you should change your perspective about healing as not a goal, not a destination, but rather a journey you are on, that you're always going on to and always improving, trying to change things, and your healing tools will always change. You'll always try new things. Some things will work at the start, but then they'll stop working. You might change other things. Just see it as a journey that you're always trying to improve. But in no means you should try too hard healing and same time losing the sense of how to live your life. So I hope I gave you a general rough idea of my perception about this topic, and I think there are some things we can all learn about. And like I said, I just recently learned that about myself. I'm nowhere perfect about this, but I'm more mindful of when my healing is actually putting roadblocks in my life instead of like opening doors. So definitely being more aware of that helped me just be on my healing journey easier and enjoying it rather than being afraid of every little mistake I'm gonna do in my life, So guys, I hope you're safe. I know 2021 is still rough of us. We're going through a pandemic even for 2 years, and I expect we're gonna be in kind of this COVID situation for a lot of years. So good luck to all of you guys. Make sure you care about yourself, care about your family, and always have some time for yourself, please. Definitely you deserve that. So I hope to see you on the next episode. Until then, always remember, guys, you are loved, you matter, and you're worthy. See you next time. Bye-bye. This has been another episode of the Anxious Developer Podcast with me, Andrei Zgrvac. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. You can find me at Andrei_Zgrvac. I would love to connect with you. If you like this episode, make sure to leave a review on iTunes. It's the best way for you to let me know what can I improve. Thanks everyone for listening. Have an amazing week.